Thank you so much, Boom. And hey, if you want to team up in Resident Evil, if it's co-op, I'm completely game. But thank you so much, man, for that fantastic intro as always. I didn't even know it was Friday the 13th. I need to leave right now and just go hide underneath my blankets because this is not a good day to really do anything. But thank you so much for that intro, Boom.
Hey, thanks, Boom. Thanks for that awesome intro. It's happy to be here, man. Not only is it Friday the 13th, it was a full moon last night, which explains the ripped clothes and blood all over my shirt. I was running around in the forest like a damned werewolf. I'm a little tired this morning. I was watching my bro play some Borderlands 3. Apparently he needs a little bit of work. It looked good to me, but I'm excited to get into the topics you've got today, man. Let's do it.
Boom. You need to increase your volume. A lot of people in the chat are saying
they can't hear you. I don't know.
Give them a little bit more volume. Keep talking here, and then we'll let them know if they'll let us know.
How does that sound, guys?
Yeah, they say they still can't hear you.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, well, are you on mute?
No. Well, there's a delay, so we need to wait for the chat.
No, no, I'm not on mute. I am working. All right, you know what? Hold on.
They're saying better now.
Okay. All right.
Okay, there we go.
Well, like I said, it is Friday the 13th, folks. So listen, I'm not sure if you heard the introductions, but we're going to continue anyway. BitCloud, welcome to the show, my friend. Thank you so much for being here.
It's no problem, man. Thank you for having me. Shout out to everybody on the chat, and everybody is already here. Go ahead and hit that like button and hit the share button. Let's get more people in here and have some fun.
Well, listen, dude, again, it's great to hear. Great to have you here. Enjoy what you bring to the community, and really enjoy your channel. And you said that you did a Gears 5 review. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Dropped the Gears 5 review yesterday, and
nice.
I enjoyed myself.
Nice. Okay, well, listen, I think everyone should get over to his channel, which is linked in the show notes, and give that a watch. Make some comments on that. Obviously, Gears 5 is the biggest game of the year, and it's to see a review by someone in the community usually is better than some of even the bigger sites. But let's move on to the next panel member. Next, we have a gamer who's passionate about the art that goes into making the amazing game worlds, characters, and stories found in gaming. A community member that cares about more than just playing games, and he also enjoys discussing what makes them so much #fun. He enjoys talking about game development and the creators, and he's also the creator of the Vitamin G podcast, which airs on Monday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please welcome my very good friend, FC Violent.
What's going on, guys? And I appreciate the invite again. Boom, panel, Big Cloud, Slow Mo, Shady, Zemi. Man, I'm excited, man. It's my second time on the show, and let's get it.
Yeah, well, it's definitely great to have you here. You had a blast the last time. The community really enjoyed having you on, and you do great work. You're always talking and interacting with the community. And again, that's really what it's all about. And last and no way least, he's one of my personal favorite community members whose skill in the division is so legendary, Sam Fisher called him for help. A gamer who's a Nintendo Switch fanatic, his passion for gaming may not have an equal, and he is the creator of the amazing Slow Mo Backslap YouTube channel, full-time member of the Brat Podcast, and Scumcast alumni. Please welcome Slow Mo Backslap.
Oh man, yeah, that's the kind of intro I like. All right.
See now again, it's one of those intros that we put Cognito on notice.
Right. Cognito need to step it up. You know,
I like to hear that.
Game up. But no, yeah, look, I'm really excited to be here in this panel. Like when you asked me to come on, and then then when I saw everyone that was going to be on the panel, I'm like, all right, we're gonna have some good conversations today. It's gonna,
keep going.
Your coffee, it's gonna be good.
Well, listen, again, I love having you on the show. Love working with you. Love being a guest on BRAP. Again, varied opinions. But you know what? At the end of the day, see, that's the thing that I really enjoy about a lot of the people, not just that are on this panel. A lot of the people that we interact with on a regular basis, where we can all have a very different opinion about a game, about a topic, about a person, and we all are adult enough to understand that it is okay to have a different opinion. It's okay to like something that someone else doesn't like, or vice versa. Dislike something that someone else likes. It's how you present yourself as a person. And that's really what I strive to be a very transparent content creator, and I don't dabble in the console war nonsense. Yes, obviously I like Xbox more than anything, but I certainly don't poop on the other consoles. In fact, I support them proudly, and I really enjoy the banter that this community has with one another, keeping the console war shenanigans out of it. But you know what? Speaking of Strange. I pulled a story from Gaming Bolt. Excuse me. And I want to talk. I have to open up the show with Death Stranding. And, this game has been a bit of a conundrum. And the story that I pulled from Gaming Bolt led with Kojima, Hideo Kojima, who is considered a master artist to many. I, of course, loved the Metal Gear series. I loved all of them. I mean, again, the stories are the stories. They are strange. They are long. They take lots of twists and turns. But when you talk about Strange, you have to talk about Death Stranding. And, he said something publicly that I thought was very odd. And something that I don't know if I would necessarily admit if I were the creator of said franchise that's supposed to be the second coming. While speaking to the Financial Times, Kojima admitted that he wasn't entirely sure how to classify Death Stranding, something that many may have struggled since the game's announcement. He himself said that he does not understand what Death Stranding is either. Now, I gotta be honest, folks. Listen, I'm not getting the game. I was very public about that. If it's $20 at some point, I will pick it up just because I buy all Sony's first-party games. But I am going to tell you this. if you were on the fence, if you were like right on the razor's edge of whether or not to buy or to sit and wait, watch the 50-minute video if you want to lose an hour of your life that you can't get back. And you will understand that maybe this game is overly hyped in a way because it's Kojima. The gameplay... What? I'm sorry, what was that?
But you bought the collector's edition, the baby.
Oh, yes. Well, yeah. Normally I buy all collector's editions, and, having a baby on my shelf, I don't think the wife would be cool with that. As a matter of fact, I don't think I would be cool with that. And to go even further, in this 50-minute video that I watched yesterday, they show the lead protagonist, which, of course, is the Walking Dead star Norman Reedus, bathing in a mud bath with the baby, floating around there. I thought that was really odd. So listen, I have to go. I have to go to the panel because I could talk all day on this, and I don't want this to be a one-sided conversation. So I'm going to go to FC Violent on this first. FC, listen, there is, again, this game has had controversy. This game has had a lot of have had a lot of trailers. We have seen a lot of this game, and every time we see it, it gets more and more strange and like for me. I'm not a boob. I understand storytelling, complex storytelling. I read books. I cannot figure out what they're trying to do here. What are your thoughts on this latest 50-minute trailer from the Tokyo Game Show?
Man. All right, well, I have two ways of thinking. Firstly, I don't know if you saw on Twitter where the Kojima showed a picture of him smoking a big spiffy. I think you might have to
I didn't see that.
partake in one of those ones to be able to understand the game. You know what I mean? You have to be in a different cloud or stratosphere to be able to play and understand this damn game. But okay, so the two parts, because I engage the community a lot, whether it be trolling or just debate. And so one side of the fence, whether you be PlayStation fans or just fans of gaming or different type of gaming, they say that, this is a different type of game. You guys are so used to, shooters and things like that. And I'm excited because it's different. Okay, so I understand that part. But the other side of it is taking it for face value, like you said, Boom. Looking at it, having Kojima himself say that he doesn't understand what the game actually is, and looking at the actual gameplay, it leaves a lot to be desired. Like, I am already getting drained from open world games, and looking at this game, there's a lot of nothingness to me. You know what I mean? Like, it's I don't want to say walking simulator, but there's a lot of transportation involved.
Yes.
so I don't want to crap on. I don't want to crap on the game, but just from face value, just looking at it, it does not look fun to me. I'm gonna get it as well because I always get these games as well. Even if I talk trash like I did Days Gone, I ended up liking it eventually, like afterwards. So maybe this might be the same here. But as of right now, man, Kojima, either he's a mad genius and he's just putting a wool over people's eyes until the game comes out and it's amazing, or it really is what it is. So,
well, look, I'm gonna say this. Look, again, this the conversation that we're having, because I know what's going to wind up happening. You got content creators. Everyone on here is a content creator. They understand that the comments are sometimes not very nice, and I'm sure I'm going to get it, and that's fine because I don't mind controversy. I always bring logic to the topics that I write. And even if you are a die-hard PlayStation fan, even if you are bleed blue when you were cut, and the flag that you fly in your kingdom is only that emerald blue, you yourself have to admit the bag carrying that is going on seems so egregious, so unnecessary. I understand there's a story to be told here, but when you see, again, I watched the 50-minute video. Did you see when he's in that select screen and he's like, as you're loading the bags, his knees seem to be moving and buckling, and the bags are getting higher, and it's like, and remember, at the same time, he's going to pull a ladder out of his ass on top of carrying all these packages. It is, look.
Go gadget ladder,
yeah.
I mean, look, I understand it's a game, folks. This isn't real life. It's a video game, so it's going to do what a video game does. But
It's got similarities to some.
There is limitations to what the human mind can accept. Again, that's someone that's off of narcotics of some sort. Slow-mo backslap. I want to get your opinion on this because you know what, you yourself, you're very fair and you do tell it like it is. And sometimes people don't like your opinion, and you know what, you say, oh well, and I hear you. What are your thoughts on what they've shown so far and that last 50-minute trailer? Did it make any sense to you?
Say, right now, what I said the first time I saw Death Stranding.
Here it comes.
Never go full Kojima.
Okay.
Just never go full. This is like everyone hates Konami, and for very valid reasons. Konami is trash and they're terrible, but they were kind of, keeping the lid on this Kojima craziness. Maybe they were just like, whoa. Kojima, could you not put, that nonsense in the game? Can we just keep it focused on what people like Metal Gear for? Maybe, now that he's with Sony and Sony's like, hey, go, you do you. Be as creative as you want to be. And that was like the last thing that he needed to hear. And he was just like, oh, okay. You babies coming out of people's mouths. Let me show you death is not really death. When you die, you go to this other place and la. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm not really here for all that. But I'm gonna get the game, I'm gonna play it, I'm gonna give him a chance. I'm still just kind of like, this is, but at this point, I can't be surprised by anything that happens. Like when I play the game, and if I'm peeing on the ground and mushrooms come out, and then it turns into another person, and it's a clone of me.
Gotta be high.
I'm just gonna be like, you know what? All right, because I mean, at this point, I can't say, wow, I'm surprised that happened. No, this is Kojima. 100% all Kojima. So, here for the ride.
I mean, look, again, I actually somehow or another forgot about that. So Shady, I want to go to you on this because,
but before Shady jumps in, I'm gonna say this now. I've been saying it. Stranding is gonna win Game of the Year. Just letting you know.
Well, listen, it's funny. If the elk, we're going to actually get into that because there are a couple of caveats that need to be brought out that have nothing to do with console or happen to do with absolute logic. But so Shady, the peeing aspect. You can stand up, you can sit down, you can sit on the toilet, you can smoke a cigarette, you can bathe with a baby. You can carry luggage, you can pull ladders out of your rear. Listen,
you go work basically.
Yes, well, yeah, but yeah, I'm going to say your fighting mechanics are you're hitting people with cases, which is hilarious, while they have shock sticks, cattle prods. From what you have seen, as someone that understands the strange of things, has any of the videos that has been shown since I think might even go back as far as 2015 or maybe even 2016, and the latest 50-minute video encouraged you to want to buy this game?
God, no, not even close.
Okay.
I was interested because I'm a big sci-fi guy, big, thinking man sci-fi guy even. I don't need all the answers. I'm open to some interpretation type of deal when it comes to that stuff. It's fine. This is like weird to be weird when the creator can't even describe it like at all, no matter what it is about the game. He can't describe squat. Strand genre. I'm watching the gameplay. It's literally like press circle to initiate Strand. That's the genre? Get the hell out of here. Like, he's having difficulty describing anything about it at all. Anyone involved in the game, whenever they're in an interview, they're walking out like, I have no idea what I just acted in there. Not at all. Maybe Kojima does. I think the man came down off of his own hallucinogens for the first time in a couple of years. And that's when he tweeted out, hey, I don't know what this is either, to be honest. It's just art to be art. Like, I can't deny that the game looks beautiful. The graphics they're stellar. They look great. But that's cutscene style. As soon as the gameplay started happening, it's stiff. It's janky. It looks boring as all hell. Who cares that you can rest and sleep and take a piss and like it's not good. I'm with Slow-Mo. I think Konami was reining this man in for a long time, and it was one of the reasons that they constantly butted heads, and he ended up leaving the company. Was he wanted to fly like a crazy acid out eagle, and they were like, yo, no, we're trying to sell a product to like human beings that understand just logic and anything. So I don't know, man. Sony gave him a blank check. I think you're safe, Boom. You said you like to buy every Sony first-party game. This is not a first-party Sony game. This is his own thing. Sony's funding it, no doubt. They're paying for it, but it's not a first-party title. So you're safe if you don't want to buy it, bud. Your streak won't be busted, if you will.
Yeah, no,
but no, man. I'm
good.
And like, in a world where everyone can't wait to get offended by everything in games, I'm shocked, to be honest, that one of the last showings of this game, Kojima and his translator, the man doesn't speak like 2 words of English still after 30 years of selling his games to the American audience and making countless millions off of us. He can't speak a single word to us. That drives me wild
English,
too.
but he struggles.
Yeah, he does. He does understand a little bit of English, but he does.
I'm convinced every word
he does struggle. Yeah,
he's told to say it, and he doesn't know what it means. Beyond any of that, him and his translator are up there taking their.
We need to understand the Kojima.
Yeah,
well, we can't. Exactly. Like, it took him and his translator 20 minutes, straight-faced. Bridge baby was. Here's the story. Oh, a bridge baby. You know, they come from still mothers. What's a still mother, you ask? It's a brain-dead woman that we've impregnated and then taken the baby out mid-term, placed into an artificial womb, which we now use, his words, as a tool, but only for about a year before we have to retire these bridge babies. Straight-faced. Everyone's just clapping. Yeah, sweet still mothers and taking their baby. What is going on? And I like out there sci-fi, man. Like I'm out there. That wasn't enough to chase me away. But my brother was watching with me. He's like, "What the f is going on? I'm out of this, man. I got no interest in dealing with any of this baby crap. That was too much for him." The animations look terrible when he walked off that cliff, man, and fell right on said baby, and he's rocking it. This just looks brutal. It looks brutal. The 7-minute trailer that they showed with the president's hologram and the other weird president guy who is wearing a bizarre skull mask, because of course he is. Why wouldn't he be wearing a weird skull mask? And then they just rambled on, man. They rambled for 7 minutes about connecting the country is going to save the world, and we need a Strand, but he's not a Strand anymore because he's a Bridger, but she's Bridger. Is that his last name is Bridger? Because we need a Strand. And it was bad. Like I'm looking for the nearest shotgun to suck the business end of. This looks brutal to me, absolutely brutal. If there's someone out there who loves it, they worship the ground Kojima walks on, so be it. That's fine. I hope it delivers something for them. But, man, I'm not even fishing the sucker out of the bargain bin. I think this is utter trash made by somebody who is just basically a massive art attack. They don't know how to explain it. They're having a great time on someone else's dime. And it doesn't matter if it's successful or not. It doesn't cost Kojima nothing. He can have a flop, and his zealot followers will gladly lap up and buy up whatever next game he makes anyways.
Well,
you have to disconnect your mind.
Yeah, I maybe you have unless you have to plug your mind into the actual console. Maybe it's gonna come with an attachment that you stick into your ear.
FC was saying maybe you got to hit some of the sweet greenery before you understand this. Look, man, so Shady stays high. I rather not. Stays high. That is.
You got to get the special strand that Kojima's talking about. That extra strand of THC.
There you go.
Level 3 hallucinogens and a lot of them.
Have you
my God, no, man.
Mario
I'm out.
shrooms, man. That's what you need.
Good.
Well, look, I'm gonna say this, BitCloud. Before I get to your opinion on this, I have to read a quote from Kojima that was directly quoted from him. Death Stranding, even now, I don't understand the game. Its worldview, gameplay, they're all new. My mission is to create a genre that doesn't currently exist, in which takes everyone by surprise. There is naturally a risk at that. And then, of course, during this interview, BitCloud, he tried to clumsily explain what the social strand system, say that quick 3 times, is in the past, but never quite were able to pin it down. And this is where I have to say the comment that there's weird, there's different, there's art. I understand that. But what I don't understand is when it's strange just to be called strange. And that's what I feel this game really is. And what it seems to me is that, we've heard several reports that, when this game was first created, he was going to do his own new engine. And then it was then transferred over, I believe, to the Horizon Zero Dawn engine.
Decima.
Yes. And maybe somewhere along the line, this was a different game. Maybe it was a Metal Gear Solid clone-ish game. And now it's this game because it seems incomplete. And it seems like it's telling the story of 3 different titles. Do you get the same feelings that I do?
Well, when you said Metal Gear Solid, I immediately, I'm shocked that you didn't get the, not necessarily the reference, but the similarities that it actually has. Remember when he was going against the little, the creature from the other world and he was throwing grenades? If you look closely, he's throwing the grenades. That's the same, like, throwing, aim
animation,
system.
for sure. Absolutely, yes.
It's the same animation, but also the same, like, aim system that's in Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of the Patriots. It's the exact same. So it's pretty much, it has elements of Metal Gear Solid 4. That's what I was getting. I was getting Metal Gear Solid 4 vibes. Now, everybody who played Metal Gear Solid 4, y'all know Metal Gear Solid 4 can be slow-paced or it can be all-out action. You can pick a side and just shoot. And, depending on how you want to run it. If you want to run it stealth, then obviously you can pretty much have like a Death Stranding, like, gameplay here. You just walk around picking up stuff and then just, getting to the, getting from point A to point B. Death Stranding, after watching the game, really, just watching the game, it did answer some of my questions. It did prove some of my theories that I made in videos, right? For example, with the whole, like the ground coming together and it grabs you. It's not necessarily death. It's like it just takes you to their world so that your soul is going to be taken, so to speak. But looking at the gameplay, this is where it just threw me off. There was no physics like on that little shadow creature. Now, you guys remember the shadow creature when we first saw it. Troy Baker's character summoned it.
Yes.
Remember that?
Yes.
He summoned it. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe these type of creatures or this creature was going to be like, something organic was going to happen. Like, something dynamic was going to happen. Like, how when you shoot, like, how they do this in a lot of games, like, like creatures made out of like liquid or something like that. You'll see like liquid come off of it, fall on the ground. There's no damage to the creature, nothing like that. He's just shooting at it. He's throwing grenades. Nothing's really happening. He's jumping over stuff. He's not really putting up a fight. It's just like, I don't know how I really feel about that at all. I just don't know, Graphics look insane, like always. They look insane. All this other stuff that we're looking at, it's like, okay, that's just classic, Kojima comedy to me. Like when he falls and the baby is upset and he has to rock the baby. That's classic Kojima, comedy there. Like, hell, he even puts models in Metal Gear Solid, So, I mean, the dude just has, crazy comedy. But, yeah, this one particular game, I don't know how I feel about it. I really don't. I'm torn. I'm lost for words. I see a lot of people making a lot of good theories on this. A lot of people are explaining their theories, but it's like it doesn't matter what you say, right? If it ain't praise, people just don't want to hear it. And it's like, listen, we're not hating on the game. We're just giving you our honest thoughts on what we're seeing. We don't know what the hell we're looking at.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree. I mean, listen, again, if we would have only seen a 50-minute trailer since it was announced, then we could all, I think we would all have reserved opinions because, we would say, well, wait a second, we don't really know. This is just the one scene. Maybe it wasn't a good showing, but we can't, give it low marks. We have to give them the benefit of that. It's Kojima, right? It's like, wow, it's Kojima. But we have seen, yes.
Yeah, Boom. Yeah, you missed a super chat. I was gonna wait.
Oh yes. Okay, let me get that. Gotham Guy. Oh yes, thank you so much, dude. First of all, if you don't know, Gotham Guy is one of the community's finest. Not just because he put a $10 super chat in. No, because he is always here in the chat on many people's shows supporting him. I tell this story all the time, and I'm not ashamed to say it again. This gentleman I did not know. I only met him through his generosity. Who, if you didn't know, he made me his +1 for Xbox Fan Fest, and he did that out of the kindness of his heart, and I'm always going to be grateful for that, because that's an experience that I don't think I'll ever forget. And I got a chance to meet him and hang out and have some fun, and it was a great time. So Gotham Guy with the outrageous and very generous $10 super chat, he says, if this game turns out to be more than the sum of its parts, then I'll be the first to admit it, that I was wrong. But if it's more of what we saw, then it better not be nominated for Game of the Year. Now, before we get actually into that, and that's going to be a real hot topic, I want to go to Zemi Games. Now, Zemi, this game has had a lot of showings. And I want to say that there has to be at least half a dozen trailers, and it might be more, okay, since its original reveal. And every time we've seen it, the closer we get to launch, the game seems more and more wacky for the principle of just being wacky, not because it's trying to tell a wacky story. I just think, like I said, when the creator himself cannot nail down what the game is, I have an actual problem with that. I mean, that to me is basically saying, well, I don't know what I made, so I'm going to leave it up to the fan base to make that decision. That's wrong. The creator is supposed to understand what they're creating and explain to the potential customers, which is everyone here in the chat and on this panel, what we're buying into. Other than just, movie-like cutscenes with people that are movie stars that we've seen in other films and TV shows. What are your opinions on what we've seen, especially in this latest 50-minute trailer, dude?
Well, I think in times like these, it's important to remember and learn the power of duct tape. I don't understand why they're letting this man speak. Like put him in a corner, give him no press, no media attention, and just have the marketing and PR team do their job to try to fix this. I don't see how. I mean, because a lot of people were already questioning the game, right? And then the main creator, the main guy behind it, comes out and says, "Yeah, I don't really know what this game's about either." Like how do you expect to sell a copy like that? I don't understand. So yeah, I mean, I think that they need to just put Kojima in a corner and just give him his drugs and just tell him to settle down and let the PR team handle their job. As far as the game goes, though, I mean, I'm not going to buy it. I was never really interested in buying it. I'm really enjoying the weirdness of the game, though. I'm really enjoying like just seeing how out there it is, bathing in a puddle of mud with a baby, doing a 4-minute segment at Gamescom talking about urinating on a field to grow a mushroom. I mean, it's like a car wreck that I can't look away from. So I'm really enjoying that. But yeah, I'm definitely not going to buy the game, and I think I feel bad for Sony because they're the people that put a lot of money in on that. You know what I mean?
Oh, listen, Kojima spends money. That was one of the things that coming out of Konami, Zemi, that that's why they were at odds with him on a regular basis, because his games took so long and there was so much money spent that, I'm not sure who on the panel said they gave him a blank check. That's a blank check with a lot of zeros. And this game has been in development since, I mean, does anyone actually know when it was shown? Because I don't have that note in front of me. Was it 2015?
2015 or 16.
I'm not sure, but it's listen, if it was first shown in 2015, which I think it was, we're talking about a 4-year development, a 4-year Kojima development. That's a lot of money, especially that after the first 12 months of development, they changed engines. That is an expensive thing. Zemi, I agree with you with your points.
I mean, another thing though too is, if this game bombs, which I don't know if it will. I mean, there are a lot of like hardcore PlayStation fanatics that are going to go out and buy it and stuff. You know what I mean? But let's just say if it did bomb or if it undersold, do you think that could potentially impact, Kojima's career? Put him in a place where no one's willing to give him the financial backing that he previously was able to get?
He'll always be known as the GOAT because he's known for mastering the consoles when it comes for frame rates.
Yes.
So,
yeah. I mean, listen, he's a good developer. He just does weird stuff.
Yeah, he definitely does. Especially Konami. Y'all kind of add a little light to what Konami's though. You remember when Konami was charging us for save slots for that Metal Gear Survive game?
They're not a good company. I remember that. Yes,
I remember. You remember that they were doing that to try to probably make up some of the money that they put into Kojima. Like, I was like, oh god, they were out their mind for that. I kind of had to look at the gameplay. I kind of want that PT demo thing to really become a reality now. At this point.
Yeah, that looked fancy. That's now we're talking because PT the demo is
Silent Hill, right?
Silent Hill? Yeah. That had the potential to be something really special. And then we got this. But you know what? Look, everyone had a great opinion on this, and I think everyone had a pretty fair opinion. See, that's the thing. That's what we try to push on this show, is being fair. It may be a different opinion. It may not be a popular opinion, but at the end of the day, it's going to be a fair opinion. That's what we strive for on this particular program. But I want to move on to keeping with Death Stranding. Obviously, Jeff Keeley is the showrunner of the Game Awards. Now, look, here's the thing. I still have a bit of a bitter taste when it comes to Jeff Keeley because of the Xbox One X price reveal right before Microsoft was supposed to go live. Now, I've heard different things. I've heard Microsoft let that happen. I heard that he did it on purpose. Who's going to know, right? No one's really going to know because we're on a fly on the wall. But with that said, though, I have to give Jeff Keeley a tremendous amount of credit. He is one of the hardest working dudes in the industry. It's because of him that we do, in fact, have a Game Awards. Okay, I want that to be perfectly clear. That he himself, with his passion for gaming, legitimized the Game Awards, actually having a real, real Game Awards for the people, for the fans, to celebrate gaming. And, he does a lot for the industry. But I have to call a spade here, folks, and I will call foul when I see the writing is on the wall. Now, obviously, during Gamescom, we had the Jeff Keeley event, it was announced that he was going to be actually in the game, which I thought is pretty cool for him. I mean, think about that. For the rest of his life, he's going to be the guy that was in a Kojima game. We know that they're great friends, and that's awesome. Take nothing away from that. That is fantastic. They have a family bond relationship. You can tell that he adores Kojima, and that is okay. But here is where BoomStick has a real problem. Okay, first of all, based on comments from Jeff Keeley's in the past. Games that come out in the time frame that this game is coming out are disqualified from nomination. It has happened numerous times, where a game would come out and say, why wasn't that game nominated? Oh, because it came out at this time and it didn't. If it came out before this date, it would be nominated. So that, in principle, should make this game you cannot be nominated. But even
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Go ahead. You want to say something?
I would say, whether the game is received well or not, this is going to be a highlight for his life. You think about it. He's going to get video game with his favorite developer.
Yes. No, it's a big deal. It is a big deal.
It's a big deal for him. So,
when's the cutoff, though?
I always thought it was the end of October. This game is coming out. I think it's in the middle of November, if I'm not mistaken. So it would miss the Game Awards. The Game Awards is I think the first week of December. Maybe it's December 7th or 9th, something like that. So it's
I think you're right.
It's close. It's real close. Now look, let's say, for instance, this game did come out in September. Let's say it came out, it was out today, and we're talking about it, and we're like, yeah, this is terrible, it's great, whatever. The fact that he's in the game, the fact that he has a connection, and I understand Jeff himself doesn't be like, okay, yeah, pick this one. It is voted upon. But I this is where I have to go to my panel. And FC Violent, I want to go to you first on this. Do you think that this delegitimizes the Game Awards if this wins Game of the Year? You know, people are going to be like, well, the take is in.
Okay, but before I answer though, Boom, can you read Brap's super chat?
Yes, I'm so sorry about that. That just passed me by. Basement Radio Arcade with the outstanding $5 super chat, and of course this is Enrique, who's a very good friend of mine. He says Kojima is trolling us. He does this. Also, has Kojima made a bad game? His games are well received. Oh, well, hope Mrs. BoomStick is feeling better. Yeah, thanks so much for that, dude. And, you know, I mean, I guess it's subjective, right? You know, some people, I mean, I personally don't think he's made a bad game because I've really enjoyed, like, all of his Metal Gear titles. As a matter of fact, I enjoyed Metal Gear Solid 5 a heck of a lot more than most people. And I put a shit ton of hours into that game. So I think that's subjective, but at the same time, I don't know, man. It's just not the game. It releases in what 6 weeks. This last 90-minute showing was not a good one. But FC, I want to go to you on that, dude. What do you do? You think that this calls to question the honesty and trustworthiness of Game Awards if this wins?
Well, now if the game is great and it's on like the God of War level, then you know what? Then fair play, because then it deserves it. But
right,
like again, from what we have in the information, and as gamers, we're looking at it. If that game is released and nothing too major changes, and it's like it might be critically reviewed, but is it an actually great game? And if the answer is no, or it's average, and it wins Game of the Year, then we have an issue. And this is where Keeley is gonna be in a fine line if it end up winning when he's actually in the game. It's kind of like a conflict of interest almost.
Yes, absolutely, dude. Absolutely.
I know he doesn't vote. I don't know if he votes, but I know it's not solely on him. But if he is the host of the show, he's in the game.
More time to certain games, yeah.
Exactly, and he's kind of like favoring or leaning towards it, and it's like, I'm sorry.
I think it was Salty. Salty is gaming that. Something that he had tweeted, and he replied saying that he doesn't vote on the games. So
okay,
so right. He has said that he doesn't vote, but
okay, well that's good. But I'm just saying, it's just like everything he built up. You don't want to lose credibility for an actual award show and then have any type of biases at all. You know what I mean? This is supposed to be the Game Awards for everyone, not Game Awards for your favorite developer to win if it's not a good game. So it's a fine line, but I don't think. I mean, if the game is good, I said it in the past podcast before that it's most likely going to win Game of the Year because the man, he does make, I guess, very highly rated games. Even if I don't agree, like Metal Gear Solid 5 did not like it at all. It did not deserve a 90. It was more of an 80 for me. So I could see the same thing happening, but we'll see, man. If the game doesn't change at all and people still highly review it, and the game is boring like it looks, then no, it does not deserve it, and it will actually hurt the Game of the Year awards.
Okay, that makes sense. That certainly makes sense. Zemi, I want to come back around to you first. Next on this one, obviously the Game Awards, like I said, it's an event. It's a big event. I look forward to it every year. I do because it's the Game Awards, and we don't get a lot of those. And we get a lot of world premieres. We get a lot of interviews with. And I like seeing developer interviews. And it's always interesting. You never know what they're gonna say. In your opinion, though, if again, from what we've seen so far, the game seems extremely subpar. Not the movie part of it, not the graphics part of it. When you talk about the cutscenes, they look amazing. They really truly do on the level of something you'd actually see on the big screen. Though the gameplay itself is janky. It looks sloppy, to be honest, and makes a whole mess of no sense whatsoever. This game, to me, I'm not saying it's a 60. I'm not saying it's a 90. I'm saying it's probably maybe like 76 based on what we've seen. which isn't terrible. You know, it's not the worst score, but it's certainly, in my opinion, from what we've seen, not a 90 meta at all. And if it does get that, it's based on the guy's past games, not the game we're playing. Do you see this game? Would you, in your opinion, question the Game Awards if a game that's subpar, like we've seen, because they've showed this game quite often, and it seems subpar at best, win something over, like, let's say, Borderlands 3 or Resident Evil 2 or Metro Exodus or even the recently released Gears 5?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, so for me, I guess it just kind of depends on the community's reception of the game. You know, if there's a lot of players that are absolutely thoroughly enjoying the game, like what we saw, I believe, last year with God of War, then I wouldn't question anything. But, you know, obviously, if the game comes out and if it doesn't get as good of reviews, and if a lot of community people, a lot of YouTubers, a lot of just people, just gamers are having a big issue with the game and it wins Game of the Year, then yeah, I would definitely, I think that's very concerning. And then honestly, you know, even if Jeff Keeley doesn't vote on the games, he's still the person who started it, and if he really wanted to, I'm sure
there's influence there. I'm sorry,
whisper a few words in ears and
at least nomination
and get the game that he appears in, you know, to become Game of the Year. And like FC said, I believe, I think that I agree with him. I think that there's a huge conflict of interest there, and that's very concerning. I think that was a bad decision on Jeff Keeley's part. I don't really think he should have possibly ever agreed to that, with him, you know, being in the standing that he's in. With that being a contender for Game of the Year.
No, I agree. Real quick, before I move on to the next one, I have to thank Sin Vendetta, who's always in the chat with the outstanding super chat. He says, with the Game of the Year talk right now, what is the panels so far of 2019? Mine is Resident Evil 2 Remake. Yes, and I agree with you. Right now, Resident Evil 2 is mine personally, and we will get everyone's as we go along throughout the show. But Slow-Mo, I want to get your opinion, because you know what? One thing I enjoy about working with you is how fair-minded as a person that you are. Like, we've had conversations privately that are not, you know, on the air, and that we're just, you know, we're buds hanging out talking about games. You know, we've talked privately, and I really do not only consider you a great friend, but I really appreciate your opinion, because when you talk about things, there's no motivation. There's no subjective nature to what you're saying. You're just being honest, and that's why I like having you on the show. And when you talk about honesty, and you talk about Game Awards, and you talk about a guy who's best friends with the creator and he's in the game, it would definitely be, you know, food for thought if it won Game of the Year. What are your thoughts on that?
Look, I know a lot of people think that I have like a tinfoil hat on, and I'm all in on the conspiracy theory that like it's all in the bag. It's going to win. I'm like, peace standing is going to win game. I'm joking. I'm just joking around.
You made it off there.
It's all jokes, but honestly, I when he says he doesn't vote, I do believe him that he doesn't vote. It with nations out here like Kotaku that dig in and investigate and find stuff out. If he really did vote and he says he doesn't vote, guaranteed 2 days before the game, the video game awards, Jason Schreier will be coming out with an article talking about how he lied. So he can't say things like that. If he says he doesn't vote, I believe him that he doesn't vote. Now, that's saying I do believe Death Stranding will be nominated for Game of the Year. I do believe it will get a nomination, and I think he will he'll do his best to make sure that it is
at least nominated.
But as far as it actually being voted Game of the Year, I don't think he has any sway on it, and I think it will be. I think he knows at this point that I can't try to show any influence in this, because if it does win, it's just only going to hurt Kojima, and it's only going to hurt the show that he's worked so hard to build up. Exactly. And I do appreciate and respect the level of work he's put in. Every single year, the Video Game Awards has gotten better.
Yes, I agree. That's a great point. Yes.
True.
Yeah, I thought
Also,
it was
games
amazing.
get prioritized over others if you pay attention. Like if you look at last year's one with Red Dead 2.
Mm.
Remember that? Remember how Red Dead 2 had more like showtime overall at the Game Awards, especially with their little performance they had for it too.
Yeah. I remember that. Yeah, it's the presentation has improved, and with it getting so much more attention now, you see actual platform holders and publishers holding stuff back. Well, not really holding stuff back, but looking at the Video Game Awards as a venue to announce new things, show new things. Like I think Obsidian showed the Outer Worlds for the first time at the Video
Yeah, I
Game
believe
Awards
so.
last year.
Yep.
So yeah, it's a good show, and I don't think he wants to sully his reputation or harm in any way just for his man crush and his in the game that he's in. So I do believe he'll be nominated. Whether he wins Game of the Year or not, who knows? But to answer Sim Vendetta's question, my personal Game of the Year right now is Fire Emblem Three Houses.
Yes, I knew you actually were going to say that. I knew it because you talked about that earlier. You talked about that earlier.
I have 135 hours in that.
Holy cow, dude! Wow, wow, dude. Now,
I'm probably going to hit 200 before I'm officially done with the game.
Now, here's my question to you on that: are you playing it on mobile Switch or are you playing it on docked?
Do both.
Oh, you do both. Okay.
Mostly play it in dock mode, but then there have been times when I'm like in the middle of a battle and something comes up, and now I'll just take it off the dock, connect the Joy-Cons, and I'll take it with me.
And that's the beauty of the Switch, which is why I love it so much. So Shady, you are what I enjoy about working with you is you're very raw. And you don't pull any punches, and I appreciate. I think the community appreciates that as well. This game, we already talked about the weirdness. We already talked about how it's strange. But we're talking about the potential for all the hard work that Jeff Keeley has done to make the Game Awards legitimate. And like I said, I take nothing away. He is definitely one of the hardest working dudes in the industry, and I really applaud him for bringing the gaming into the limelight that it currently has. That's help that he's done, and the Game Awards are something special. Again, I look forward to it, but again, I'm going to say it for like the third or fourth time on this topic. It's going to make me really scratch my head if this wins simply because of all of the things that we know about it. And I'm sorry, I think there's going to be I'm going to have an issue with it. What are your opinions on it?
First of all, in regards to the gaming show, I only watch it because of the trailers. I could give a damn what they decide is the best game of the year. It's all a conglomerate of critics that I have next to zero respect for anyways. So do I care that what game they've decided? I just don't at all. Kojima, or not Kojima, but Jeff Keeley being in the game, it's only his face. He's not acting a single word. They were clear about that instantly, too, when he fanboyed about being in it. Kojima spoke for 8 minutes in Japanese. His translator said, yeah, he's not acting in the game. We have someone else voicing him. So there's that. But we don't need that. That aside, he rolled out the red carpet for like 3 years for this dude. Literally, last one, it was like, let's have a look at all the years where Kojima wasn't here, but we still worship the ground that he walked on anyways and gave him awards that he wasn't here to receive. Like, we had a montage of it. So to claim bias because he's in the game, that's not needed at all. Oh my God, if there's bias, it's already there and has been for a very, very long time. So I think there's that. And Jeff Keeley is doing this show for us at all. I mean, looking at the show, it's for the advertising money. And that's the only reason he's doing it. Is it's nice having a show that gives me more game trailers each year. And that's about as far as it goes. Otherwise, it's nothing but commercials and advertisements for him. And a bunch of critics that I could care less about in their opinion on what's Game of the Year. I mean, I lost respect, really, for Game of the Year award shows when The Walking Dead Telltale won it. That's not the best video game that came out that year. I don't care how good the story is in a video game. It could be literally Oscar-winning story. That does not make it the best video game. That makes it the best story in a video game.
That's what
If it doesn't have a complete package, man, Walking Dead Telltale does not have great control, does not have amazing graphics. It was buggy. It wasn't smooth. It was framey. Like, I don't care how great the story was, which in my opinion, it wasn't. I don't care how popular Walking Dead was at the time. That wasn't the best video game of the year. I mean, and if that was
that year?
Basically any shooter. Call of Duty was better, I guarantee it.
I don't
it's not that good of a
mad
video game. Like, for me, story does not make a video game good at all.
Yeah,
it can make it better, but a garbage
everything.
video game is a garbage video game. If a story is fantastic, but it's slapped onto a game that plays like ass, I don't care. It's an ass video game with a great story. I'm tired of video games with awesome stories being heralded as the best video games. No, those are just games with awesome stories. Game has great control, has a lot of replayability. It has different modes and different options for people. Lots of stuff, not just a story. And I think way too often critics and many gamers today focus on the story. Go watch a movie or read a book, in my opinion. This Death Stranding game could tell the best story a video game has ever seen. But the gameplay that I have watched goes to the best video game at all. I don't care what story it has to tell. It's not why I personally play video games, and that will not ever make an average video game the best video game ever for me, ever. So, I mean, the game will likely be nominated, maybe not this year because of whatever rules or regulations they decide to set up. It doesn't matter to me, man. I don't think it deserves best video game any year that it comes out. I don't think a game where when you ask someone, why is the game amazing? And the first words out of their mouth are story, boom, fail for me, man. It's got to be gameplay first for a video game. And that's it. Sorry.
Well, I mean, listen, again, that's the great thing. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. And you know what? That's perfectly fine. But BitCloud Gaming, I want to get your final point on this because I know you've been chomping at the bit to get in here and talk about this. Listen, you've heard everyone's point, so I'm not going to drag this out. What is your opinion on the possibility of this being nominated, which is probably going to get nominated, but at the same time winning when it has all of this baggage, no pun intended, by the way, attached to this?
All right. So as far as it getting nominated, we all can agree across the board it's going to get nominated. It's one of the bigger releases of this year. It's one of the that alone gets it nominated. You know, as far as it winning, you know, even I can't say it, and I'm a big Kojima fan. I can't say it will win, but I would definitely say it will probably be up there. It would be like in that top 3 of like that inch away, maybe if the game goes as planned, right? That's understandable. It's understandable. As far as Jeff Keeley affecting the awards and whatnot, you need to understand Jeff Keeley, he doesn't have a say in the vote, which I do agree with Soma. He doesn't have a say, but he does show a little favoritism to certain games on his show.
Sure he does. Absolutely.
Yeah, and
you know?
that's
Red Dead 2, you thought Red Dead 2 was going to win Game of the Year with the amount of just effort that went into the show for Red Dead 2 last year.
Good point.
You remember that? It was all Red Dead 2. From the presentation of certain things, from the amount of accolades they were throwing out. I mean, hell, the dude who played Arthur Morgan was just getting thrown awards left and right, was he not?
Yeah, he did.
They're throwing every award at him.
He deserved it, though. He
did. I was just going to say that. He was amazing.
He deserved it. But I'm saying, you get what I'm saying. There was a lot of games out there that were good, but it just really felt like, damn, let's just throw everything again.
It felt like an award show just for Red Dead Redemption.
Just to honor Red Dead 2. And it's like, hey,
that's a very good point, though. Very good point.
We got some guests here. Like, let's throw some other awards out there. When God of War won, that's where it got even more big, applause. Everybody was like, yeah, that's the game that we truly believe is Game of the Year.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It's understandable.
Yeah,
I understand people got a different opinion of that particular situation. Some people they really love Red Dead 2. I played Red Dead 2. I even went the extra mile of platinum. I platinumed Red Dead 2. I got all the trophies. For Red Dead 2.
Man, that's great.
So I went the extra mile. That's how much I enjoyed, the single player. Like, even though the gameplay was kind of drawn out, it can get boring because it's a big world with a bunch of wildlife, and that's basically what you're doing. You're hunting and all that stuff. The game does have a huge payoff, especially if you played the first one. You get the context of characters. That's where the payoff for Red Dead 2 is. It's a good game in those aspects. So if you have not played Red Dead 2, go ahead and play it for the single player alone. Go play for the single player. But I thought God of War clearly was just a perfect package for Game of the Year, and that's why I was happy for them to win. As far as the situation and again, I'm not attacking. So Shady, obviously, it's his opinion, and he's rightfully, welcome to his own opinion. For him to say that, like a good story doesn't make a good game, and that it should not be weighted on the game.
I'm saying on its own. If it's just the story, the rest of the game is average, man. Like, come on.
If it's just a story and the rest of the game is average, okay. God, there's so many games I can list.
Essentially,
right
Telltale, right? Like Telltale games are pretty average video game wise. You're not doing much. You clumsily walk around and you click on something. It's a point and click adventure. The video gaming is light. The story is solid, but I don't think that makes it an amazing video game. It makes it a video game with a solid story. That's really what I'm trying to get here.
Okay,
get across.
If you look at Telltale Games started off pretty much working on Vita titles. They weren't really a big AAA budget studio. They never were. They weren't like David Cage. I always respected them for this particular merit. If you think about the whole situation, right? David Cage and the whole, Detroit Become Humans and all that, he's basically a AAA version of what's the name of Telltale Games. Basically what he is.
Yeah.
Basically this. So you want that AAA version of that game, then obviously you go right there to David Cage. But as far as the whole Telltale Games thing, Telltale Games is known for their storytelling. And I'm sorry, there's nothing that anybody can tell me, but actually the Game Awards were on point when they gave The Walking Dead the Game of the Year. It was that good.
You don't think they should have just been Story of the Year?
What year was
Story of the Year? That's it.
A long time ago. It's a long time. It was like what 2000 and
okay.
This is back in PS3. This is like in 2000. PS3.
I think Slow-Mo said 2012.
Right. It came out in 2012.
2012. Yeah, 2012.
It was April 2012.
It did win. Wow. Yeah, it did win.
With Big Cloud with Ryan, because this. Like you mentioned, David Cage and Quantic Dream kind of taking that, and also Supermassive Games is also kind of taking that format as well. But back in 2012, that was actually innovative. No one else was doing that, and it became very popular for its time. And unfortunately for Telltale, they didn't innovate from there. But at that time in 2012. You weren't playing any of the games that were like that.
It's all it is a voiced version of Leisure Suit Larry from the 80s, man. It's a point and click adventure with a story attached. That's all it is.
It beat out Mass Effect 3, Borderlands 2.
How? How?
I mean, that's
kind of
again. It's one of those instances that it's a subjective thing.
It should have won best story. Like that should be its own thing in Game Awards. Is the best story in a game. A good story doesn't make it the best video game. A video game is something to be played. Tetris has no story. It's fantastic. Like video games don't need a story to be great, and a great story doesn't make an average game the best game. It just makes it an average game with a great story.
I'm trying to understand what your logic here. So you're saying that you would rather have a game with good gameplay mechanics but no payoff in terms of a story?
Saying that the story is one of the least important things in a video game. If the video game has a story and it's good, that's sweet. That's fine. That's great. But if a video game has a story and that's all it has, the rest of it is just average at best. I don't care how good the story is. The game is average with a good story. That's it. The story's good. The game is average.
Yeah,
but people are confusing good story with good games. Like a movie has a good story. It's not a game.
Story from game.
The
story is a part of the game. It is the part of the
game. Not really. I mean, like the story of Gears of War has nothing to do with me running around and taking cover and shooting guys. I'm shooting guys. If they come apart, great. If it feels good to saw dudes, if the multiplayer is fantastic, I like playing Horde and stuff. I don't care about the story. I do. Like in Gears, I enjoy it, but the story doesn't have to affect it. If the Gears story was terrible, the gameplay could still be fantastic. The arenas that they built for me to go in and play in could still be awesome. They failed in a few story moments during the cutscenes, which is essentially mini movies. So be it if that happened. That's not going to make So the game is bad. Now it's a great game with a shitty story.
Because it's a part of the game.
Hold
The
on,
game
hold
is
on.
the whole. You can't separate certain parts of the game and say this doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Let's get back to the
That can
original.
be fine for you personally, but overall, the majority of gamers don't feel that way. This is the reason why
something like
why
Tetris could never win.
RPGs are so important. Why people enjoy RPGs so much. You can't have an RPG with a bad story.
Exactly.
Yeah,
but hold on.
If the actual
have-
fighting and questing and powers you're getting and stuff like that is actually fun and enjoyable,
There
can.
have been plenty of RPGs with trash stories and have great gameplay, and those games don't get played. And no one talks about them, and we can't remember their names.
Like I said, there's a lot of people that do play video games for story first, and that's fine. They're allowed to. And I don't. I'm saying I don't play my games for story first. I play a game because I actually want to play a video game.
So
simple as that.
Okay. To piggyback off what you just said, by default, right? A game like Batman Arkham Knight, basically.
Rather, I spend my time flying
story.
I fly around the city and just beat up random thugs more than I do anything in the story. The story is instantly like, you need to go here, you need to sneak around, you have to do this. That's
Not
fine,
really.
and I'll do it eventually for one time. And then I'm like, I'm going to go fly around the city some more and beat up thugs because
Y'all
its
talking
actual
about preference,
gameplay is
though.
fantastic. I go to the challenge room, and I
Arkham
spend
Knight
hours
was-
in those challenge rooms over just playing the story. The
Hold on,
story is great and fine.
let me
but
jump
that's
in
not
here.
what
Let me
makes
jump
the
in
game
here.
Oh, let me say that one more thing.
satisfactory for
Arkham
me.
Knight didn't really force you to do anything. It was all optional. You had options. That's why they gave you the options.
Story, man. As soon as you're doing it, you have to go somewhere to go to this checkpoint, talk to this guy. Now go here, beat up this boss. That's what I mean. Where if I want to play Batman, mostly I just want to fly around as Batman, beat the shit out of a bunch of guys, get my combo as high as I can. I find a lot of the time story gets in the way. I want to play a game with my buddies. They come over. Oh, they're not there yet. So we can't play the level that I want to play because he hasn't seen the story yet. Okay, fine. Or we just want to load a level because it's fun to play that level. But you have to watch a whole bunch of cutscenes first that are really deep and connected to all the other levels that we don't care about.
You know, I don't want to.
It just doesn't feel as
Real quick,
replayability.
if you don't mind, I've been trying to.
You can add to it.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So Shady already stated that he doesn't really care for the wars, and he's mad at the fact that Telltale's won Game of the Year just for story alone. I mean, we got to be fair. There's a multiplayer only game, Overwatch, that won Game of the Year as well. So that doesn't have
video
story.
Game. No, nothing.
But I'm saying it's just
Tetris could win Game of the Year. It's a video game. It doesn't need to have a story. It needs to be a game.
I'm just saying that like both parts, like Overwatch just has multiplayer. I mean, I don't really know the story of Overwatch, but in like Telltale has just single player. But either way, it's preference, and it is what it is. Anyway, sorry, Boom.
No, it's okay. I mean, listen, I just again, just before we move on to the next topic, I do want to talk about your opinion on whether or not this, being nominated is one thing, but winning with the baggage that comes along with Jeff Keeley and Kojima. What are your thoughts? Your actual thoughts on that?
Oh, you have a super chat, by the way.
Yes, I'll get to that in 1 second as soon as you're done.
All right. Do you want me?
Yeah. Pixel, if you want to just close out this topic on your opinion on whether or not it should win, with the baggage that comes along with Kojima and Jeff Keeley.
Again, I gotta see more. I have to really experience it for me to make my own opinion of it being Game of the Year. I have to really experience it. A lot of people said a lot of crazy stuff about what was it, Red Dead 2, saying Red Dead 2 was boring and all this, and I played Red Dead 2. I was like, no, it's not. So I gotta experience it for me to come up with that conclusion that it is everything that everybody is saying that it is. But I'll definitely be doing that eventually when I do get the game. But yeah.
Yeah, I'll be definitely looking through for your guys' reviews on it because I am not getting that game. If I win it by some chance, then I'll play it, but I am not spending actual cash on it. There's way too many other games to play. But real quick, before we move on to the next topic, the Basement Radio Arcade with the outstanding $5 super chat, and of course that comes from Enrique, friend of the community. He says, "A game is a sum of all of its parts and how well they work together. Also, Switch has games with the best gameplay right now. You have a Switch right now is killing it on just about every aspect. The fact that they have great games, exclusives. Let's be more specific. Their exclusives are bananas great. and their gameplay and all their games that are great are just as great. But I want to move on to the next topic because, like I said, I didn't expect this one to run as long as it did, and I hope everyone's enjoying it. Even though we had a little bit of a hiccup for the late start, and of course the sound issues. Thankfully, no clipping though. I did fix whatever was wrong with Streamlabs, thanks to, of course, community good guy, Graphic God. And I just want to take the time to say that I had put out a tweet yesterday thanking Graphic God, J-Dubs as he's known, publicly because I'm not a very technical dude, and the help that I've gotten from him has just been. You can no price tag you can put on it, and I did share the video that he shared with me. He sent to me to help me understand the backdoor stuff of OBS. And if you are a content creator on this panel or someone that's in the chat and you're listening, I highly recommend, please. Go look for that tweet and watch that video. Save that video, put it into your, download it because it is a big help. And apparently, whatever they taught me yesterday has worked because we've had no clipping. So a big thank you to J-Dubs for that because I could not have done the show any further with the way it was going without him. But let's move on to the next topic. I want to talk about Star Wars because it's going to be big in 2019. Obviously, Star Wars Episode 9 is coming out. I'm very excited for that. I think that's launching on Christmas or late December. The Disney Plus The Mandalorian is going to be amazing. We've seen some trailers for that. That looks like it's going to be something real special. The Obi-Wan Kenobi series has been confirmed. And I want to talk about Respawn Entertainment's Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order releasing in a few months. And basically the fan base, from what I've seen, is going to pass out of excitement because of all of the Star Wars stuff. And the big question on everyone's mind, though, is when does Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order actually take place? And thanks to a story that I pulled from Game Rant, it's clear that the new game takes place right after the Jedi Purge, started by Order 66 as portrayed in Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. The story, the official story details say that the main character, Cal Katis, narrowly escapes the Jedi Purge, and in the game, the player will lead, i.e. us, will lead him on a quest to rebuild the Jedi Order. Obviously, the game has to take place after Revenge of the Sith. But one thing is for sure, this is confirmed canon. And for the larger Star Wars universe, this is really good because it is possible that in a later film, we actually might see the protagonist be in an actual Star Wars movie. And if you're not familiar with the actor that's playing this character, he played the Joker on Gotham. And that kid is a great actor, and I think he's going to do really good. I got a chance during E3, and I'm not sure how it happened, folks. I think I just kind of tripped over it and got lucky, but I was able to get in with the press. I registered Double Barrel Gaming at EA Play as press. They liked what they saw. They gave me the press credentials, and I saw behind closed doors about maybe 20 minutes of gameplay, and I was impressed back in June. And in some of the newer trailers, we've seen Saw Gerrera, which is played by Forrest Whitaker, and he looks a little older than he did in Star Wars Rebels. And it's a bit younger than what we've seen him in one of the other Star Wars. I think it was Rogue One that he was in, and we don't want to spoil it if you missed that. What happens to him? Needless to say, it's not good. But I'm interested to hear what the panel, but of course the chat has to say on whether or not you're excited for this, because you see, for me, as a game fan, as a Star Wars fan, as a guy that actually sat in the theater and watched Star Wars as a 7-year-old kid. Yeah, I'm that old, folks. I got a chance to see Star Wars in the theater, and I'm actually proud about that. But I'm a huge Vince Zampella fan, more specifically Respawn Entertainment. And the reason why I'm so excited for this is because, I know Titanfall 2 itself didn't sell well because of the way it was positioned between Battlefield and Call of Duty, and we're not going to go into that. But the story that they told in the single player campaign was incredible. So it tells me that we're going to get a really good Star Wars story. And I want to start with Zemi on this, because I know, Zemi, when we talk about Star Wars, you get excited. You're a big Star Wars fan. What are your expectations for Vincent Pella's next big Star Wars game?
Oh man, dude, I am pumped. Not just for the game, because I mean, I think episode 9. I always get confused with the numbers. I really do, but I think episode 9 drops December 20th, if I'm not mistaken. I could be mistaken. I'm super excited for that movie. I cannot wait until sometime in November. I think Disney Plus comes out. Cannot wait to see The Mandalorian, but this game has me super hyped. I don't know what else is coming out in November, and that's very fortunate, because I cannot wait to. Let's not talk about that. let's talk about the good one. Let's talk about Star Wars. That's the good game. But yeah, I'm super pumped about it. I can't wait to see what the story's about. I would love it if the character that you play as at the very opening of the game, you're maybe at the Jedi Academy, or maybe you're with a master out somewhere, and you're a little kid, and then there's a time jump after the initial purge. I really hope that they do something like that, because I don't know. I just think that would make it darker, and it would make the stakes even bigger for the story. The gameplay looks absolutely amazing from what I saw at E3. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see that 20 minutes of gameplay. I'm a little bit jealous, Boom. But I'm just super excited for it, man.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's Star Wars. And I understand the last movie maybe didn't move the meter for a lot of people. And I get it. I happen to and I really, really enjoyed episode 7. I'm throwing it right out there. Now people are it was too much A New Hope. That's fine. I've seen that movie. Got to be about 25 times, maybe more. To the obsessive compulsiveness, you may want to add those words to how many times I've seen episode 7. Episode 8, I think I've seen it 3 times just to see if I liked it better, and I actually kind of a little bit moved the meter after seeing it multiple times. But this game, like I said, I saw behind the scenes, and it was early, and then some trailers we've seen. I am very excited for this, because I'm not a big Dark Souls dude. I'm terrible at that game. And they have compared some of the fighting sequences where you got to really use your brain. And I like that. Slow-mo, I want to go to you on this. This is going to be one of the bigger titles in 2019, not just because it's Star Wars, because it's an action game in the Star Wars universe that's canon, and of course Respawn is doing it. What are your excitement levels for this?
I'm really excited about this game, and it's not because it's Star Wars, because I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan. I actually, over the holiday, one of my family members called me a Star Wars hater just because I didn't praise everything about the original trilogy. I pointed out some things that were just kind of like that's just inconsistent, or that's some really bad storytelling here, and he's just stop, I mean Star Wars, some Star Wars fans can get a little crazy, but Star Wars games though. I really enjoyed the Force Awakens games. Not Force Awakens games. What is the one with the guy that was the Vader's
the
apprentice?
You talking about the prequels?
Force Unleashed.
No.
Force Unleashed.
2 games.
Yeah, Force Unleashed. Yeah, good
Oh,
call on that, Shady. Yeah, Force Unleashed.
Force Unleashed. That's it. Yeah, those 2 games were awesome. Knights of the Old Republic. That one and the sequel that Obsidian did. Great games. So when it comes to the games, I'm always all in, because I always feel like the storytelling is a lot tighter, a lot better, and then of course the gameplay has usually been pretty good. This game, one, is being made by Respawn, which can you name a bad game that Respawn has made?
Nope, you cannot.
Nope.
So, I have a high expectation of quality from this game, and I'm just all in. So it's when I finally saw the gameplay at E3, I was like, yeah, this is going to be a good one. Now, I know some people were disappointed. I know there were some people that were just like, oh, I was expecting more, and I was like, well, look, this for what my imagine what I imagined it to be when they said it was going to be melee focused with lightsabers, and I said, okay. And then when I actually saw it, I was like, that's exactly what I thought I was going to get. I like the ability to be able to force pull a enemy of like, laser fire coming at you. I'm just like, man, that's just it's just a lot of the ideas that you ever had in your head if you were a Jedi and what you would do. It's just like, it seems like somebody put all that into the actual game. So yeah, I'm all excited for it.
Yeah, I'm going to say this. I actually, again, I got a chance to see that. Yeah, he held the blast with his left hand, and he grabbed the guy and brought him around in front of him with the right, and then let the blast hit the guy. I was like, okay, they have really,
pretty cool.
They have really thought
brutal.
outside the box.
It looks so brutal, and I love it.
No dismemberment though. That's the only gripe.
Well, real quick, Slow-Mo, you mentioned a lot of awesome games. Two of them that I'd like to add to that list before I get to a BitCloud Gaming on this was Jedi Academy. Was if you remember the OG Xbox. That was a great game. But one of my favorite, most people do not ever talk about this game is Republic Commando.
Yeah,
a first-person 4-player. Now, you didn't play 4 players, but you did have your brothers. It was you and 3 of your clone brothers. It was outstanding. And it's backwards compatible on the Xbox One X. So I highly recommend, if you were a Star Wars fan and you want to experience something really, really different, you get to play the game in first person. It is an amazing story. Great gameplay. I'm sure it looks dated, but it's enhanced on the X, so I would definitely give that a shot. But BitCloud, when you talk about Star Wars, depending on who you ask, some people, Star Wars can do no wrong, and some people are like, yeah, they let me down on this film and on this game, and we know that what EA has done in the past, right? They've had their shot, and and the Battlefield games, not Battlefield, Battlefront games have not really hit like the original 2 did on the PlayStation 2 and OG Xbox. Those are great. Those are like hours of fun.
The other ones for like cash straps.
Yes, but this has the potential to be something real special. What are your thoughts on what you've seen so far? Are you excited for this game?
Wow, man! Wow, you forgot that quick, man. Last time he was on here with King David, I had to drop knowledge on you.
That's right, you did. That's right. I'm so sorry.
But I'm kind of mad David's not here because I got a theory going to that game. Now, you said it's canon, right? They said it's canon.
They confirmed that it's canon. Yes, they have done that.
So since we're rebuilding the Jedi Order, do you think possibly we'll get Mace Windu?
Oh wow, man!
You didn't think about that, did you? Yeah,
no, I didn't. Like I said, I think he's still out there.
That would be so cool.
Remember, Mace Windu did not die.
No, he did not.
Yeah, he got force lightning and went out the window, but he didn't die. They confirmed he's alive and well, guys. He has a mechanical hand. The thing is, we never saw him afterwards, and a lot of people had theories like, was he Snoke? But no, he's not Snoke.
Yeah, thank God he wasn't, because I heard that theory and I got very upset. But go ahead.
Yeah, so he wasn't Snoke. He's no, he's not Snoke. He's out there fighting somewhere. But maybe we'll get the answers there. We'll get the answers. As far as gameplay, man, I saw it live when we first saw it, and ironically, that was like the only good game during EA's whole conference.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yep,
it was like the only one. Love the gameplay, loving it. There's no dismemberment, but I kind of figured they didn't do that, because Disney whole thing. They don't want no kids to do it, even though they see it in the movies over and over. So that's fine. Obviously, there's no DLC, so that's another plus right there. So they already got my money day one. But I'm kind of very skeptical on the future installments. They'll say that they're not going to add DLC the first time. But then usually when those numbers are super high, they find ways to nickel and dime something in there. So I don't want to see that.
Transactions confirmed, bud. Like they are selling skins and stuff like that.
It's EA, guys. Come on.
Yeah. That's a great point. It is
just
EA.
No loot boxes. All they've said is no loot box. There's surprise mechanics, but they are selling like lightsaber crystal colors and different suits for your character and different skins for the droid on your back. I guarantee it. I think they've confirmed it too.
No, well, that happens. I mean, it happens, and that'll kind of I guess that will fit Disney's new theme because at the where is that Disney World? They got
Yeah,
this
you can
new
make your own
place they
lightsaber.
built,
Yes.
make your lightsaber. So they'll probably go with their whole theme now. They're doing that, which is pretty cool. I ain't gonna lie, that's kind of like a old dream we had younger.
Oh,
now
yes, it
officially
is.
a reality. It's a dream. You make your own thing. They even have black crystals, so you can make a black lightsaber at those places, but they're like rarely found. You gotta
That's dope.
Well,
So that's cool.
I think those black crystals. I think that the actual blade is just red. I don't think.
Oh, is it red? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't. I could be mistaken. I was watching a bunch of videos on that, and I think the blade is actually still red. It's just a black crystal. I could be.
It makes sense. They just started this whole shop, so they're gonna add even more colors. They continue like whites and everything else, but that's cool. That's cool for them. As far as everything else is concerned, for on that merit, I'm trying to think what else could they possibly do with the story. Obviously, Mace Windu is the big thing I really want answers for. I do kind of want to see if they're going to allow you to harness the dark side and have like attributes of both the dark. And
That's a good point. I don't know. They didn't show any of that, so I couldn't comment.
The Jedi is done. The code is done. That means that opens the door for you to create your own new
order. Yeah, maybe you have a little bit of both in there. Yeah, that's that would be cool.
Yeah, that'd be really cool to see that. Maybe you'll see some certain Sith in the game that you might fight. They didn't really show saber on saber combat with like a Sith Lord or anything of that nature. So not sure if they're gonna do it, but that'd be cool to see. A big thing for that. I'm trying to think if we would get. I'm trying to think. Hold on. There's one more thing. Because episode 9 is literally around the corner, or we're getting close to episode 9, so we might get more of Palpatine, and we might even see Darth Vader, like in his early days of Darth Vader's destruction.
Yeah,
of
maybe
the world. So we might see that. So it's possible, man. It's a lot there.
I put it this way: if you're a Star Wars fan, regardless of what you felt the last film or what they've been doing, there's a lot to be excited about, especially because you're going to be getting Star Wars in the movies on Disney Plus and an awesome looking game. FC Violent, I want to go to you on this. The potential for this game to win back the fans right before the movie launches is big, and it's well placed. This is product placement at its finest, right? It's going to be. I think it's in November. Is it, or is it October? I don't know the actual release date, but it's not before the next movie, which is December. And people are going to play this game, and they're going to be like, "Oh man, I'm excited for Star Wars." They're going to go see the film. Are you excited to see what Respawn with their storytelling can do for this character and this new canon for Star Wars?
Yeah, so I have to be honest. When it was announced, I was super excited, and Slow-Mo already mentioned it. I was part of the crew that got kind of disappointed after watching just the trailer or the little bit of a gameplay that they showed. I was expecting more, more impact. It felt very vanilla to me personally.
Okay,
but Star Wars is one of those franchises that I've always played. I've played all the games you mentioned, and they're all great. I know you said you didn't like Battlefront 2, but Battlefront's campaign was actually really good.
And the campaign was short, but it was actually very good. Yes.
Exactly, and that's what
expansion too. They had an expansion to that campaign that was also very good too.
And that campaign gave me, I guess, hype for a full-fledged campaign for Star Wars because I know it's a different developer, but the campaign of Star Wars, there's so much juice in the story. So with this, I trust the developer, so I'm definitely gonna play it. This is probably gonna be EA's last shot for me because EA has been. Every time I buy an EA game, I just get disappointed every time. Anthem was the last game, and you already know how that went. Mm-hmm. So for this, I'm hoping. I mean, you saw some more footage, so I trust your judgment. I'm gonna get it because I love Star Wars. I love the universe and the melee-focused Star Wars. Like, I mean, come on, and it's Respawn, so I'm gonna get it. But I'm hoping they add a little bit more impact, and hopefully it's not as vanilla as that I first saw. So But it looks good. It's campaign, and if you play Battlefront 2, if anything like that, how that campaign is, and more fleshed out, then I'm on board, man.
Yeah, I hope that there's more complex controls where there's more you can do, because I get it. When you play these games, you want to discover as you go along, and it would be pretty crummy to kind of know everything. Like when I did my Gears review, I was very, very cautious about letting them know about some of Jack's powers, or even some of the legacy weapons. I'm like, you guys go and discover that, because I don't want to be the guy that ruined it for you. And I think that they're playing their cards really close to the vest. And I'm like you, I agree. I don't want it to be vanilla. I want it to be exciting and fun.
Yes.
And every power you get, I want you to be like, yes, I just got this power. I can't wait to use it. That's what
I just want to be a badass Jedi. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I want to be.
Lightning. Just give me force lightning.
Yes, just give me
all abilities. Give me that.
Or
and the ability to choke people, and we're good.
Go crazy with it. Yeah, exactly.
And one of the biggest Star Wars fans on this panel, who actually has his own empire, So Shady, I want to get your final opinion on this. Obviously, we've talked a lot so far about this particular topic, but there's still a lot more that we can discuss, and I want to hear your opinion. Are you excited to see what not so much EA, because EA, when you say them, they put the frown face on, but Respawn, they're a great developer. I like Vince Zampella. And I trust their work. Are you excited to see where they take the Star Wars franchise?
First of all, Boom, I'm gonna have to claim the title of the biggest Star Wars fan on this panel in the whole community. I'm just gonna take it. God damn it! I'm over. I'm kicking 40's door down here in a couple of years, and Star Wars raised me, man. To say I'm a fan is an understatement. I'm a fanatic. Nuts. I have read like well over 100 novels, man. I've got the original Millennium Falcon sitting right beside me. I got the newer toys still. I have like 50 still of the old toys. Like I'm ludicrous. But I'm overcritical.
Hey, Shady, do you know why Mace Windu's lightsaber is purple? Let's see if he knows this, Boom.
I know why. I don't know, man. This is coming from a guy who literally thinks that Mace Windu's still alive.
It's because he wanted
total theory. It's total theory. He's not alive 100% yet until he's appeared somewhere. It's just theory because he got knocked out the window. They haven't confirmed squat in what comic or what book or what movie. Nothing. Until it's in one of those, it's nothing. I've seen the channels that talk about Star Wars theory stuff, and Mace Windu, he fell out the window, so he could be alive because we didn't see him splat into the ground. That's really the only reason that theory exists. So, hey, he might be. That'd be all right. But, I'm a huge fan, maniac. I'm overcritical, if anything, since Disney has grabbed the reins. Outside of the music, the TIE fighters roaring by, the lightsaber, not even the lightsabers, to be honest. So Star Wars, man, I'm just not a fan of what they're doing anymore. I think that the soul of Star Wars is missing. Something's just not there. This new cast of characters they brought in is soulless. They're not memorable at all. You want to talk about Mary Sue? My God, you have to bring up Rey. It's just the worst. So, I'm very, concerned about anything Star Wars these days. It's just for the masses. And when anything is for the absolute masses, it's watered down. They're not making Star Wars for Star Wars fans. They're making Star Wars for every human being on the planet. And I just don't think that makes the best Star Wars. When I saw that E3 footage, man, I was falling asleep. It was just so by the books. It looked like it was running in slow motion. The blaster was slow. The movement was slow. It looked like you just held forward and you'd get to the end of the level. I thought it was a very, very poor showing. Pretty graphics. Nice. I like what I've read that say that it's kind of a Metroidvania. You get to choose different planets that you go to in different orders. You're going to come back to them and revisit when you have different powers and stuff. But they showed nothing that got me excited outside of a pretty looking Star Wars game. It's neat that the troopers die, with one lightsaber hit, but that also lends itself to easy gameplay. How is this going to be a difficult Souls-like game if my lightsaber touches the trooper, he falls over? In one aspect, that's realistic, quote unquote. We're talking about lightsabers here, so it's realistic for a lightsaber. But on the other, gameplay-wise, I'm not too sure it's going to be great. How is any trooper supposed to counter and block me? We'll see when it comes to that type of stuff. There's also no dismemberment. Disney addressed that by saying that they saved dismemberment for big time key moments, like when a big
bosses
Sith
and
get
leaders.
killed. Yeah, a big boss gets outed. You're going to cut his head off or something. That's what they do in the movies. They're not cutting stormtroopers apart in the movies either. So that's why they're not doing it in the game. So I understand, but it's also kind of lame because I want to see arms and legs flipping and flopping all over the place. Cauterized, of course. Like they would be cauterized. I don't need blood spilling in my Star Wars games. But it would have been cool to see a lot more dismemberment. They confirmed it's going to be on the droids and it'll be on monsters. So if you're fighting the Scorpion, you can slice its tail off or its legs or something. So that's neat. I'm excited, but at the same time, like I said, everything Star Wars just feels somewhat watered down to me. It's neat how they have the TV actor from Gotham playing the main character. The time frame of this game is like relatively right after episode 3 when Order 66 has been passed down and the Jedi are being hunted. So he's on the run and he's got very little training. But I mean, with New Disney, you don't need very much training. And all of a sudden you're stopping blaster bolts mid thing without any, I don't know, man. He's doing like master level force work. And
well, that we have to understand what they explained to us when we saw the behind the scenes stuff of that particular moment is much further in the game. So I think like what Zemi was saying
comes across someone, right?
Yeah, we may get him as a kid. You understand what I'm saying? And we may see him, being taught by a master, and then the master dies or something. He goes on the run. So I think that before,
I still like to hope that the only other time we've seen a blaster bolt get stopped was when Kylo Ren did it, and they were setting him up in the movies as like the new darkest, baddest ass in the galaxy. That's why he's doing it, and it's not something that just a Joe Blow Force user is doing. We never saw it before. So it's kind of weird. Like I've always found the force power is weird. What makes one force power evil versus another? If I'm a Jedi and my buddy's car dies, can I not shoot electricity out of my hand to boost his car? Or is that a dark side power? I'm doing the man a favor here. What if his hose is leaking? It's leaking water everywhere. So I use my force powers to pinch the hose. So is that a dark side power? Because I can also pinch someone's throat like Vader. I always thought that part of the powers was silly. It's not the power that makes it dark. It's the intention. If I'm shooting electricity at another human being to kill him, that's pretty dark. If I'm shooting electricity to boost my bro's car, there's no dark side there. So I thought that was just very tropey of Star Wars to begin with, where all the dark side guys shoot electricity. Like, really? I think we can do better writing than that. Star Wars isn't the deepest writing ever anyways. But beyond that, man, I think the game could be really good. The time period has it right after, so he's on the run. I think personally he's going to end up in the Outer Rim and turn out to, he's going to show up in the Mandalorian show and be the main bounty hunter's like white whale that constantly gets away because there's a Jedi that's known to be out there and the Empire wants him. Like the Mandalorian takes place after Return of the Jedi, so the Empire is kind of on the outs. Palpatine's down. Yeah. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of warlords fighting for power, a big power vacuum and stuff in the Empire. Disney hasn't addressed a lot of that time period, and they chopped away all the books and stuff. So, that doesn't mean anything. So we really don't know what's happening still, assuming the Jedi are still, being hunted. But I think he's going to show up in that show. He's already a TV actor. It makes sense to have him on a TV show as opposed to throw him into a movie, I think, anyways. So, I don't know. I'm interested. We're going to get it anyways. Like, I can't say no to a Star Wars, but it's not the Star Wars game that I've been waiting for. The one I want really bad is a brand new, like, Rogue Squadron or TIE Fighter or X-Wing type flight simulator arcadey game where I get to go on infinite type of missions where I'm just wrecking freighters and destroying this and getting knocked out of hyperspace by an interdictor cruiser on my way to X, Y, and Z unpronounceable planet. I don't need massive over-the-top Star Wars storytelling. Just give me scenarios and let me play as an ace fighter pilot shooting shit up. Like, that's some of the best Star Wars
for me ever. For me personally, Shady, I wouldn't want that. I like the storytelling, so I'm hoping that they can give us a little bit of both. But I don't want to spend too much time on this because I do have to.
I'll wrap this up quick, man. With Respawn, they've made first-person shooters only, so I have no idea what they're going to do and deliver in this third-person game, man. I hope for the best, but their pedigree is not this type of game, so I think it's new territory for them.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I trust them. I think they were a AAA developer, and I think that they understand what's at risk here. I think they're well aware that it has to be done in a proper manner that's going to justify them, having the Star Wars license. And I would imagine that if this does well, we're going to get a sequel. But Sin Vendetta with the additional outstanding $2 super chat, he says, please just give us KOTOR 3, and I could not agree more. Knights of the Old Republic 3 would be amazing, and let's hope... I don't know if BioWare is BioWare anymore to be able to do that. That's the problem.
Yeah, it would be rebooted anyways. They would reboot that whole series because they're going into the Old Republic timeline in the movies, so they're going to start all over. They wouldn't continue with those games.
So I would say that we probably will see a game eventually, like probably after we see like whatever David and Dan are working on.
Yes, they're doing a trilogy. That's confirmed.
Series.
Yeah.
I don't want BioWare doing another Knights of the Old Republic. If you want to do that particular format, that level of RPG, I would I'm kind of on the fence on whether Disney's going to continue with EA once their contract's up in 2022 anyway. But if they wait longer than that, I would say they go back to how LucasArts was just picking and choosing who
different developers to do it. Sure, absolutely, that's smart.
What would be a
contract with one publisher? And I think they should go to Xbox Game Studios. And
Obsidian. Yes. I was just gonna say that. I don't know.
Man, I like the way you're thinking, Slow-Mo. That's great.
Yeah,
I'm more reserved, but he got good points.
He did great with the Sith Lords. And I love how you can switch up the fighting stance and the fighting style of your Jedi and on the fly. Like it was like they took what BioWare created and they just iterated off it in a really great way. So go back to that and let BioWare figure themselves out.
No, that's actually that's a fantastic point. That is so well thought out. I didn't even think about it. That is a great point. But I want to move on to the next topic because the Tokyo Game Show, besides having 50 minutes and then another 7 minutes and then a lot of confusion of what Death Stranding is, Capcom was there and they showed off their new Resident Evil spin-off project called Project Resistance, and it was revealed that it's a team-based survival horror game. And when you talk about Resident Evil, you think, of course, right away single player. And only Resident Evil 5, and thanks to the good work of Zemi, who corrected me, Resident Evil 6 had for co-op play as well. I actually didn't have that in my notes. I forgot, because Resident Evil 6, I didn't even beat. I hated it. I hated 6, and I'm a Resident Evil freak master, okay? But now we got the confirmation that the team-based Resident Evil game is coming, and it looks a lot like Left 4 Dead in the Resident Evil universe, and I say sign me up. Now, the article that I pulled from Bloody Disgusting had this to say about the newest addition to the long-running Resident Evil franchise. Project Resistance seems to show a team of players cooperating in an attempt to escape not only the hellish surroundings, but the threat of T-virus enemies deployed and controlled by another player. The reveal trailer gives us the first glimpse at the RE engine-powered spin-off and suggests you'll be able to take control of Mr. X, the antagonist player from Resident Evil 2 Remake, which they made him scary. They made him scary in Resident Evil 2 the Remake. And the trailer, man, I got to be honest with you, and I agree with them, it appeared to show someone that looked a little bit like Albert Wesker. So I don't know if this is directly parallel to Resident Evil 2 the Remake, because at that point Wesker is still alive. We know that later on in the series he dies, but here's my question to the panel, and I want to go to Zemi first on this because I like Zemi's answers when it comes to the scary stuff. There's something to said about the way Capcom has been approaching their titles since Resident Evil 7. And I talked about this on the show before. Capcom as a company in 2015 and 2016 was in financial ruin. I don't think a lot of people understand that they were on the verge of bankruptcy. legacy. And obviously they came up with a lot of HD titles that really what powered the finances for Resident Evil 7, and they took a chance making it first person, and it wind up being a critical success, but also a financial success for the company. And ever since then, all they've done is hit W's. And this, like Resident Evil 7, is taking a bit of a chance, but because, Zemi, they are really careful with the way they're doing their franchises, I have confidence this is going to be good. If this winds up being a multiplayer game, are you gonna be interested to play?
Boom, we will live stream it, buddy.
Yes,
we will hop in there and we will live stream it, and we will advertise the heck out of it so people can hear my shrieks. But yeah, I really hope it is. I hope it's co-op. I hope that they listen to me and they make a Resident Evil that I can play. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, if it's single player, I will not touch it.
Well, no, it's definitely multiplayer for sure.
Okay.
That's confirmed. Now, I don't know whether it's a 4v1 like they're saying, because it looks that way. I'm not sure if it's a Left 4 Dead kind of a thing, where it's 4 people and we're just trying to escape Raccoon City, and we have to fight through all of these monsters. I don't know, but it's definitely co-op for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely excited. I mean, I like the gameplay. I had so much fun with Resident Evil 5. I remember, like, whenever I first got the game, I joined in with like some random stranger, and then I backed out because I couldn't hear his voice, so I didn't have the comfort of another person's voice while playing that game.
It's great.
And I eventually found a buddy that wanted to play it, and I absolutely enjoyed the story, the gameplay, everything. I really like how the game's set up where you don't really get that much ammo. I really like playing the co-op Resident Evil games, and so I'm definitely excited for this. Hopefully we can hop into a game together and you can see what it's like playing with me on a scary game.
No, that's gonna be fun. I'm very interested because again, it's gonna be fun to hear you be like, hey, Boom, walk through that door first, because
that's the only promise that you have to make for me, Boom. You have to promise me that you won't leave me. That's number one. You can't leave me, okay? And you have to walk through all the scary doors first. Unless there's something facing us, then I get to lead.
Okay. That you know what? That's fair. That's fair enough. That's great. FC Violent, I want to get your take on this, because honestly, we have been hearing that Resident Evil 3 remake is going to be released. As a matter of fact, I've read on the 4chan forums by a guy named Anonymous1 who has been right on the money with these Capcom leaks. He hit the home run on Resident 2, and we know that Resident Evil 3 is supposedly currently in development. So a lot of people thought that this was going to be like an added mode to Resident Evil 3, and we get to see Nemesis in an HD, like a Resident Evil 2 remake format, which I'm still hoping for. But this is its own standalone game. I don't know if it's a full price game. Are you interested to see where they take this?
Well, I think I saw on Twitter where I think the guy who's making the game, one of the developers, was getting a little bit of flack because they obviously wanted the Resident Evil 3 remake, and I'm on board for Capcom trying to maybe get some spin-offs of their famous genre, famous games and stuff. And for me, I don't know if you guys are, but Left 4 Dead 2, Left 4 Dead 1 was some of the funnest gaming moments that I've ever had, and I've been crying for a game like that, a Left 4 Dead 3. Like, come on, Val, like, please. You know what I mean? But this game in itself, I'm curious because the other games have tried to make something similar, like Evolve, which I hear didn't do too well, and Fable Legends, which was another one. But the difference between those two developers is that this is Capcom, and they've been hitting home runs out the park. So for that alone, I have a feeling it might be good, but I have to see, because like I said, those two games have not fared well, but there hasn't been a successful game yet out of that type of market. And if someone's gonna do it, then why not Resident Evil? Why not Capcom? So it looks good. I was watching some of the trailers while you guys were talking and looking at it. It seems like you could actually set like a traps like all over the map, which is interesting.
Yep.
Like that's a little bit different. You're not just controlling Mr. X or whatever, or a zombie. You're actually setting up the different little traps while the other 3 players are trying to traverse through the map. So that's kind of cool. And then I guess you could. I'm wondering if they're gonna add like other elements where you try someone else's, I guess, map or
maybe
whatever.
Build may add a map builder of sorts. Yeah,
exactly. Like a map builder. See if you can survive my map. You know what I mean? Something like that. That would be cool. So I'm curious to see what else they have. And I'm gonna try it out for sure, man. I'm like Zimmy, man. I don't do too well with horror games, man. I still haven't beat what's that PlayStation game? Not Until Dawn. Yeah, Until Dawn. Still haven't beat it. Like I'm over there screaming every time, man. Yeah. So I know. I gotta play with the lights on. So I'm like Zemi. So, but I'm most likely gonna stream this game. I'm hit up my boy Kofi and see if he wants to tag along. So we'll see. But I'm hoping it's like Left 4 Dead 2. And if anything, if this game takes off and it's really well, maybe Valve will be like, okay, let's make a Left 4 Dead 3. So.
Yeah, well, listen, they don't know how to count to 3, but that's a topic for another.
That's very true.
They don't know how to count to 3, but I want to go to BitCloud next on this particular topic. The trailer was relatively short. I think it did its job. It gave you the feeling that you're not a STARS member with machine guns and the tactical knowledge on how to take down hordes of zombies. You're just a civilian that looked like carrying a baseball bat. But, the fact that it looked as good as it did, I'm imagining, we know for a fact, it's confirmed that it's running off the RE engine. And we saw the RE engine in 7, and we saw the RE engine through a third person in Resident Evil 2 Remake, which looks amazing. So I'm expecting this game to look amazing. Are you excited to actually play a 4v1 or even like a Left 4 Dead type style Capcom game?
Well, the gameplay is now on YouTube, so you can now see the official gameplay.
Well, there you go.
They have it on here. After looking at the gameplay, because I was looking at what you guys were talking. Well, they're allowing you to jump in the closed beta, so you can register for it on their website. So I'm gonna be playing the beta, but right now, I don't really know how I feel about this.
Okay.
After coming from Resident Evil 2, you already know that was one of my favorites. Like, it's one of the greatest remakes I ever played especially from Capcom. And during this whole time, I've just been waiting for Nemesis. I've been waiting for them.
You and I talked about this. Yes.
Yeah, I've been waiting for that cue just to hear stars and then go crazy. That's what I've been waiting to hear for the longest. The stars, or. Aside from hearing him say stars, I've been waiting for Dino Crisis. That's another game I've been waiting for. So right now, not really that sold right now, but I'll play it for sure. See, before I make my judgment clear on it. But yeah, it's not me.
Does it seem like it's a free to play game? Possibly.
Knowing Capcom, no.
Yeah, no, because they like money. They want you to buy their stuff.
They want you to buy regardless of this. If they know damn well they $5 of the game, they want you to pay $20. That's how Capcom operates for this particular game. Again, I don't know, man. I'm getting? I'm getting that that Friday the 13th game that came out.
Dead by Dawn is also like that as well. Yeah,
I'm getting those vibes from the gameplay because like when you're playing Jason, you can place little booby traps. Trap them and all that crap. Yeah, it's basically looks like the same thing. You can put liquors in different hallways. You can take advantage. You can basically control zombies and go after people, or you can play as Mr. X, which is I guess a big deal for people. I don't know why. Mr. X is just fine the way he is. He was creepy as ever. If you play Resident Evil 2, you would argue that he's like the best part of Resident Evil 2. He's
no doubt about it, for sure. Absolutely. Them and the liquors.
Think you're far away. Yeah, and I love that. You think you're far away from him, right? Then he'll like take. I know this happened to you, Boom, where he takes a shortcut, like he cuts back, and cuts you off, and you didn't think he heard you. I love that. I love that.
And they were even showing you to the floor,
or crushing your face like he did do. What's the name in the cell?
Yes.
It's incredible, and some people add on some detail to it too that I didn't even know that was a thing. I thought he heard you regardless, but if you walk, he actually stops.
And he listens. Yes,
he tries to listen.
Yes,
I forgot all this time. I didn't even notice this at all. But he legit stops and listens, and that makes sense because like when you're not moving, you don't hear footsteps.
Right. He's listening.
You know, it's kind of like he's like seeking you.
That's
you don't
even
hear
more
footsteps.
creepy when you say it out loud.
Yeah, you don't hear nothing. So that's cool. You know, that's cool. Like, you know, Capcom, again, they've been on a roll. But as far as this game is, I'm a little optimistic on. I'm just looking forward to Resident Evil 3 remake when we get that. And of course, Dino Crashes, that was the other one that was supposedly being made. And I do want to see the future of the series. So obviously they're going to continue from the Resident Evil 7 format, the first person view.
Yeah,
So,
well, they're currently working on 8. I think 8 is going to be next generation. And I would dare say that it's going to be next generation only.
oh yeah, that makes sense because yeah, that makes sense because Dying Light's going to be on this gen, but that's a little obvious because you know it was being made prior. You know, we already knew about it, so that makes sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So Shady, I want to get your opinion, but before I do, LMNOP with the $2 super chat. Thank you so much for the generosity, my friend, and of course for being here in the panel every week. He says, good morning. What's going on with that Contra demo? Bad. I don't know. I'm excited for the new Contra. Again, we're gonna talk about that because I'm actually writing up next week's show. I try to do the shows like very, very in advance, and Contra we're gonna be talking about for sure. But so Shady, the 4v1 or the Left 4 Dead style in Raccoon City with the the BOWs that are running around besides the zombies. Are you excited to play something like this?
I was excited when I thought it was a 4-player co-op, story light Left 4 Dead type game, but it's not. It is a 4v1 multiplayer game, so I'm out. Like, that instantly killed any hype that I had. That, and when they were actually showing the gameplay in that second trailer, which was breaking down what the game was, I felt that like the gunplay and the melee and everything, it all just looked hollow. Like it looked like the net code was bad or something. Like it just felt like everything was weak hitting, or when you meleeed something, it just kind of went through the object. The hit detection just looked off and hollow. That's the word that comes to mind every time. It doesn't have the oomph that the actual Resident Evil 2 remake had. And that's all I want to do, is I just want to play 4-player co-op with my buddies and shoot a bunch of zombies type, not mess around with some other player that's loading up the next hallway with nothing but liquors right after you walked over 7. Like, I'm just, nah. And you need those other players to actually, have a good, no, it killed my hype when I found out that it was an asymmetric multiplayer game. I thought it was just going to be a story light 4-player co-op, but apparently not. So fans of stuff like that, like I also thought it was similar to that Friday the 13th, or there's a couple games that are very similar to that type of game. I forgot what the hell else they're called, but it's online and there's a group of survivors trying to get away from Evolve was like that, but this one you're setting traps and stuff. I'm just not a fan. This is why I like games made by game designers more than fan-made games and stuff, is the designers have skill, talent, and know-how and where to put things and why it would be enjoyable and stuff, where I find your average player just floods hallways with liquors and things of that nature. It's silly. For some, that's great fun. For me, not so much, man. I would have rather just played an AI alone. So that's a no for me.
Okay, no, I mean that's simple enough. And close us out, Slow-Mo, on this particular topic. What you've seen from the trailer, what you've heard other people say on the panel. Are you willing to give an asymmetrical 4v1 a shot, or is this something that you're like, not for me?
This is a negative for me. It's a not for me. Now I have like many of the people on the panel have said, I really enjoyed Left 4 Dead. I got a couple of buddies, actually one of my best friends I grew up with and his wife, that still play Left 4 Dead to this day. They continue to play that game, and I play with them every now and then. That game is a classic. It's awesome. That one and the sequel was great. Too bad Valve will never make it part 3, but let me not go there. I enjoy that kind of game, that 4-player co-op with, and it's actually, and I'm kind of like with Zemi, where I'm not really into the horror genre like that. I did play Until Dawn because that one was a little light on the horror, more on the story and the aspects of, can you get your characters to survive kind of stuff.
Damn those jump scares, though. Damn them.
But I think the biggest issue for me is that this isn't really like Left 4 Dead, where it's like you're dealing with a algorithm that is randomly generating when the horde comes at you and how you survive, and then having these different super zombies that may come out. And basically in Left 4 Dead, your only way of surviving is to make sure that you have all your party with you, because if you're by yourself, you're done. You're not going to win. And this is more of it is that evolved format, which I don't understand why developers and publishers keep greenlighting this kind of game.
Very risky.
It's very risky. Evolve was a interesting idea that bombed, and the game completely bombed. Microsoft tried to do that with Fable, and which pissed me off because I was in that beta, and I was like, why are you not giving me a actual Fable game? You're giving me this Evolve Fable crap. It didn't work out. That all the feedback they got from the people in the beta was, this is boring. This is not what we want.
Monetization, bro. That's what it is.
Yeah, the old dollar. Yep.
But this doesn't. I can't think of very many games where this actually works. Friday the 13th is a buggy mess.
Still is a mess, and that game's years old.
Mess. And Sony now is doing it too with Predator. I'm just like, what? Why are they
money, man?
You getting greenlit? Capcom, how about this? How about you not make this game? And you make me a Rival Schools remake.
Yes, now we're talking. Okay, now my hair standing up.
Lost Planet over this, like just
Lost Planet. You got me there. Yes,
Lost Planets. How about you want to talk about old Capcom? How about let's bring back, even if you don't want to make a new one, an HD collection of Power Stone 1 and 2.
Yeah, I'll take Power Stone, anything. But this weirdo thingamabobber that is like Resident Evil skin, but it's just this format that keeps failing over and over again. I don't know.
I mean, listen, I'm gonna play because like I said, I'm a Resident Evil. When I talk about a fan, I have every game imported from Japan. Of course, it's called Biohazard. I own them all. In fact, I even have the one for the Sega Saturn that's ultra rare of Resident Evil 1. For our first anniversary, my wife got me the briefcase that came with all of the Resident Evil games. It's worth a lot of money. I will try it. I don't know how much time I'm going to put into it because, like you guys, I would rather play a Resident Evil 3. We know that it's coming, right? But where this comes from, I don't really know. And based on everyone's opinion, it seems like no one really wants this, right? If it's Left 4 Dead style, and you're running from one save room to another, and you have to save your mates that you're playing with, or your health packs, I'm okay with that. The 4v1 thing, the setting traps thing, I don't know, man. I gotta be honest with you. My meter kind of went, a little bit. I don't know. I mean, listen, I'm gonna say this. First of all, I have to thank Chaos Theory with the outstanding $2 super chat. He says, "Hey Zemi, would you play Man of Medan?" LOL. And you know what? He would if he could play with someone else. And I think you can play with multiple people. I don't know how that would work though. Michelle Alexandria with the $2 super chat. What was that?
You said how it works. It's like Until Dawn. So like every choice your partner makes in the game would affect your version of the game. So if somebody died on his side, would die on your side. Basically, when you get to
it's simultaneous. So like you're both kind of playing at the same time. You don't see what your co-op partner is doing. But the things that he's doing is affecting what may happen on your side as well. Mm-hmm. And then they have party mode, which is
people get to make choices, I would imagine.
Like 5-player. I think that has to be like couch co-op. I'm not sure if that's online. I haven't done it yet. I have Man of Medan, and I'm like every time I want to play it, something else comes out.
Yeah, me too. That's exactly what I've been going through. Absolutely, yes.
I have to play it as well. So.
Well, listen, I'm going to say this, folks. We're at the 2-hour mark. This has been, I know that we were going to talk about Mario Sunshine possibly coming to the Switch, and I'm going to move that topic to Monday evening's primetime gaming. We're going to actually open the show with that because obviously we started the show a little bit later, and obviously I don't want to hold everyone up because it's already almost 12:30, and I want to thank everybody for being here. First of all, I have to thank the chat. You guys are amazing. We had almost 100 40 people watching, even though we started a little bit late. I thank you guys so much for being here every week and supporting Double Barrel Gaming with the views and putting it out there on social media. If you did like the show, please do me a favor, hit that on the way out, hit that like button. It does really help the channel get into the so-called YouTube algorithm, which I don't understand. I've been doing YouTube almost 2 years. I still have no idea how my show gets in better on one show and worse on the other. So if you can hit the like button, that does really help. Of course, I have to thank my incredible panel. I mean, this was a star-studded panel from top to bottom. Thank you guys so much for being here. Real quick, before I get to outros, I just want to make mention. If you've seen me tweet, I actually have Double Barrel Gaming has its own clothing line. Yes, you've heard that right. I actually have 3 shirts that are available. I teamed up with So Sick Clothing Company, and I have the link if you're interested to check out the shirts. And it's the first 3 of what we are working together to have at least 10 pieces in there. I'm working on some other designs right now. They reached out to me. They wanted to do a partnership, and of course, I could not say no because that's pretty incredible that someone would want to work with my small channel. And if you do decide to get any of the wares, any of the t-shirts, if you use the code Here Comes the Boom, you get 15% off of your total order. And oh wow, real quick, Sir X-Man, whoa dude, thanks for being here. He drops a $2 super chat. His Boom, did you ever play Extermination on the PS2? I actually have that game. Yes, I do. I have I have everything Resident Evil, dude. And that was actually, I enjoyed that. A lot of people didn't like that game, but let's get to the outros. And of course, I have to go to, of course, Zemi Game. Zemi, I love having you on the panel, dude. It's always great to talk about you, and you're always a lot of fun to hang out with. And I really enjoy what you do with the community. I think you definitely deserve more followers on Twitter, and I really enjoy what you do on your YouTube channel. Please tell everyone where they can follow you, where they should follow you, but more importantly, subscribe to your outstanding YouTube channel.
Absolutely, Boom, and thank you so much for setting up this fantastic show as always. If you guys want to, you can subscribe to me on YouTube at Zimmy Games. I do a bunch of Xbox tutorials and reviews and a little bit of gaming news. And you guys can also follow me on Twitter using the same name at Zimmy Games. Thank you so much, Boom.
Oh, again, great to have you here. And next, So Shady, who's also a regular panel member. I want to thank you for being here. Love your opinion. Might be different than everyone else's, but you know what? Everybody's opinion counts, and I do appreciate that. Tell everyone where they can follow you on Twitter, but more specifically, listen to your, what you have to say about the gaming industry as a whole.
Thanks, Boom. It's been a blast as always. I enjoy coming on your shows and talking games. And speaking of my opinion, man, no matter what, whether I hate a game, I think something about story or not, I love the game. I certainly don't come on the show to have others agree with me or anyone listening to agree the same. If you feel differently, all the power to you, man. I want you guys to have the best time you can with whatever games you like, man. If you're a gamer, you're cool in my books. We can talk about it. But I don't think we all need to agree, of course, as long as we can just get it across polite to each other and what we're looking for and why we're gamers. That's why I'm here, man. I am So Shady on Twitter at the Sesh Empire. That is one word. Give me a follow. Stand up from the crowd. Become an agent. Get noticed. I'll send you a greeting. The more you interact with me, the more I'll interact with you. Thanks again, Boom, for coming out or having me come out, I guess. Everyone, it's the weekend. Happy gaming. Take it easy. I'll catch you out there.
Yes, well, great to have you as always. And I want to go to FC Violent. First of all, dude, it was great to have you back on the panel. Your second time on Breakfast with Boom. Hopefully, at some point or another, we can get you to come on to Primetime Gaming that happens Monday evenings. Love the way that you interact with the community also. And I really enjoy your channel. Please tell everyone where they can check out your works of art and more specifically follow you on Twitter.
Thanks again, Boom. This was fun, man. I love being in the panel with not even so much like-minded gamers, but gamers with different perspective and have a lot of knowledge in their genres or in that field. So anyway, I want to say thanks to you for having me come back here, man. It was fun. Thanks to the chat, and you can follow me on FC Space Violent on Twitter and my YouTube channel. Definitely check it out, man. I do a lot of different things. I highlight a lot of game studios. as well as Sony Studios. I do both. And of course my Vitamin G Gaming podcast, which is on Mondays, 7 p.m. Eastern. So anyway, I can't wait to do the next show, and I'll catch you guys later, man. Appreciate it. Enjoy your weekend.
Yes, thanks again for being here. Everyone's information is in the show notes. I do highly recommend hitting them up, subscribing, following them on Twitter, because the people I have on here are handpicked, and they're people that I respect and I enjoy working with, and I highly recommend their content. Slow-mo backslap. I want to go to you next, dude. You are all over the place. I mean, you really have stepped it up with your own channel, because you're constantly putting out excellent quality videos about the hottest games that you've purchased recently. But of course, you have a big opinion, and you power the show on the Basement Radio Arcade podcast, and of course on Luca's Scumcast. Please tell everyone where they can follow you on Twitter, but more specifically, listen to what you have to say about the gaming industry.
Hey, Boom! Thank you for inviting me today. I'm really enjoy the conversation, and yeah, like Shady said, we are all very opinionated and all have different opinions on gaming and what we enjoy in games. But it's rare in this community, and a bonus when we're able to disagree yet also still come together and realize we're all gamers, and it's not that big a deal that we disagree. So I love having these intelligent conversations, and at the end of the day, everyone is still cool, which is amazing. You guys can catch me on Twitter at the same name, Slow-Mo Backslap, and again, you can catch me on Scumcast tomorrow.
I think it's at 4.
Eastern.
I think she advertised at 4.
Yeah, she does have a set schedule.
It's whenever Luca has said, like, just somewhere in the time frame of between 3 and 5 p.m. Luca will start the podcast. So
we thought it might be 10 o'clock sometimes.
It might be 9 p.m. I may be wrong. You also can catch me on Brat at 9 p.m. Easterns, and check out my channel. Like Boom said, I talk about the games that I'm currently playing, but I love to feature new unknown games that are coming out from small indie and sometimes brand new developers that have a lot of talent but aren't really being featured because they're not with a big publisher or anything like that. And the games I normally feature are just awesome. Like, just check it out.
Yeah, I agree. I love what you do. I love that you talk about games that some other folks are not talking about, and that's a big deal. That's why you should definitely sub that channel. And last but certainly not least, the master ninja when it comes to knowing about Star Wars and other great comic lore, BitCloud Gaming. Dude, love what you do. I've had you on with the King several times. Right now we are hearing from different outlets that apparently Disney has put Spider-Man back on the table with some caveats of Venom being in the MCU, and they agreed to the 30% of all Spider-Man films. This is what we're hearing.
Really?
Yeah, this is what we're hearing. Two different outlets have reported this that have 500,000+ subs, and this is what we're hearing. So if in fact this happens, and this is breaking news, rest assured we'll be doing a podcast on Monday to talk about the ramifications of Spider-Man returning to the MCU. Yeah, but I want a BitCloud. I really do want people. I mean, first of all, your channel is exploding, and that's awesome, and rightfully so. Please tell everyone where they can sub your channel, but more specifically, follow you on Twitter.
All right, definitely. I definitely want to invite to that
show. You will be getting one for sure. You and the King.
We got to talk about that. That is incredible. That's reality setting in right there. But this is BitCloud Gaming. You guys can find me on Twitter at the very same name, BitCloud Gaming. You can also check me out on Scumcast. I jump on there every so often with Slow-Mo here. Definitely check out my good friend Slow-Mo Backslap's channel. I taught him everything he knows. That's why he's so confident. Okay, he don't want to say it, but anyway, I'm the host of the RGT podcast. We're live every Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern. We're gonna have our final super show with the Gamer Couch podcast, which is a podcast I co-host on Sunday. So that's gonna be our final super show. So definitely, if you guys want to talk gaming, definitely come on by. It's gonna be 5 p.m. Eastern time on the channel as well. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy the content. You can find me there. And also did a Gears of War 5 review. If you guys want to check that out, it's on the channel as well. So yeah, that's it.
Well, listen, it was great to have everybody here. It was a lot of fun. Like I said, despite starting a little bit late and a slight hiccup in the beginning with the audio, that actually I realized, folks, that yes, BoomStick made a boo-boo. I was on mute, so I literally came in from taking my wife, putting her into a room so she can make her comfortable, running here with my bottle of water. Did not realize that I had the mute button on for that, I think, 60 seconds or something. It was a boob move, but it is Friday the 13th, and it has been one hell of a day. But I just want to thank everyone for coming out. I hope you enjoyed today's show. If you did, hit the like button, and also consider sharing this on social media. It would be greatly appreciated. But you know what, everyone, I want to wish everyone a fantastic weekend. Have fun gaming. There's so much to play, and we'll be seeing you next Friday morning on the next episode of Breakfast with Boom. Take care, everyone.